What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. We have our first user submission that we are going to take a look at, and it is by Aguilaris in the 2,400 MMR range, and we're specifically going to be taking a look at a team that utilizes Kyogre. Now, for me personally, I have not figured out exactly how to use a Kyogre, but I find myself going up against them quite a bit, so there's definitely something to this Pokemon, so it will definitely be interesting to take a look at this. We're going to be looking at a total of 4 battles. This team went 5-0, just back to back to back to back. One of the videos had lag in it though, so I decided to go ahead and cut it. But if you have a video that you think is worth taking a look at, go ahead and check out the first link in the description. It is a Google form, very easy to fill out. Just submit your footage there. Heads up, I'm looking for a Machamp team, so if you have one, make sure to go ahead and submit it. But we're going to go ahead and get into this footage. So we're going to see exactly how good Kyogre is going to be, and to be honest, the waterfall is really what I'm seeing as kind of like one of the core things about Kyogre that makes it work. It's similar in some ways to the Charmers, if you want to look at it that way. It just does so much damage. So let's go ahead and go up against a Mewtwo. So in this case, if you've ever gone up against a Mewtwo, you know how deadly Side Strike can be. It just does such good general damage. So if you're not resistant to it, yeah, good luck. Look out for that. So they're going up against a Mewtwo, like I said before, and check out that Side Strike. That is insane. But we're going to go ahead and get to another Surf. I'm curious to see how much damage a Surf is going to end up doing in this situation, and it does a pretty good chunk. I mean, that was pretty crazy that a Kyogre could pretty much stand toe-to-toe with something like a Mewtwo in that deadly Side Strike, something that you really have to kind of look out for. So we're going to go ahead and switch back into Metagross. And it is Metagross versus Metagross in this scenario. Obviously, going for Earthquake would be nice, but man, what a switch that was. It was going to be one more move to get to an Earthquake, and then they switched over into Giratina to just get a tremendous amount of damage put onto Giratina and then save Metagross for later if need be. Just remember, it was going to have the Earthquake, so the opponent actually quit early on it. Now, we're going to get into this next battle. I know this matchup all too well. If you are going up against Rhyperior, you got to get out of there if you have Metagross. So now we're going into a scenario where we see Kyogre versus Giratina Origin. And this is a case that I personally seen a lot with people who use Kyogre, where for me, I would start with something like a Rhyperior maybe and then switch into a Dragonite. But as you can see in this case, Giratina is going to be resistant to the water type moves, but that's really not stopping them from just going ahead, spamming out the Surfs, doing that chip damage consistently to just try to chip away at that Giratina. Like I said, I mean, it's not really doing that much, but at the same time, it's doing something, which is pretty good considering it is resisted. So definitely kind of interesting. So we're going to get into it. They hit us with the Ominous Wind. We're going to get into our Giratina. We should be able to get them down after this. Unfortunate with the shield. I think it's going to be an Ominous. Oh, and it was a Shadow Ball, so that was definitely a good call on their behalf. So moving back into it, we are going up against Rhyperior. Now, whenever you're in a situation like this, going with those Ghost type moves, especially like a Shadow Ball, it's going to do a lot of general damage, at least able to take out a shield in that case. Now, I like that this player is running a Dragon Pulse Giratina. That's something that I've been seeing a little bit more of, where they just opt to not really do any type of shield baiting with an Ominous Wind, and instead just go for Shadow Balls and then potentially Dragon Pulse whenever the Shadow Ball doesn't make sense, maybe up against like a Snorlax or something like that. But anyways, when we're getting back into this battle, you're just seeing that Rhyperior actually does have some relevance in this meta. Whenever you can hit with a Rock Wrecker, I mean, you can take out Giratinas pretty easily in that case. So we're going up against the Melmetal. Now, this is a huge situation for Metagross. Really trusting the farm situation, I don't know if I would do that. I guess Superpower isn't going to do that much because of it being part Psychic type. Okay, so basically they just try to farm up as much energy as possible and said, you know what, I can take a Superpower, that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to Earthquake you, get you out of here, have some energy already stored, and then be able to take out the Rhyperior, and then finally being able to take out the Giratina. So they had 3 Pokemon left at the end, but I mean, the health was just so low. Up next, we're going to go up against the Lugia. Now, I honestly think Lugia is an interesting Pokemon. I would love to see someone submit a team where they have Lugia on it so we can discuss it, take a look at it, because it's just a Pokemon you don't see that often, but it has so much bulk, and I honestly think it just has so much potential. So it would be interesting to see someone using it and doing well with it. So we're going to go up against it with a Metagross and just spam out that Meteor Mash and then switch into a Giratina here. With Lugia being weak to it, being a part Psychic type, now we're going up against a Dragonite. Now, I have been in this situation. You don't want to be going up against a Dragonite while you have a Giratina Origin, because if it's got that Dragon Breath, I mean, it's going to be able to just wipe it down. And then if it gets off one of those Dragon Claws, it's pretty much lights out if you're using Giratina Origin. So, definitely investing in the shields, which is good. This would be a case where having Ominous Wind could potentially help because you can get to it quicker. But unfortunately, he's just going to have to go with the Shadow Ball or the Dragon Pulse and then just basically take the loss there with Giratina Origin. But that's not going to be that big of a problem. So sends in Kyogre. With this, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a good move in this case. Dragon Claw is not going to do like that much damage on its own. But definitely you don't want to be stuck in that situation. So now we're going up against a Lugia. I honestly think the play could be to potentially go for a Thunder, but that's going to be really hard. They still have a shield left, so instead he's going to opt to go for a Surf. Hopefully they're going to bait it out. If not, going to do quite a bit of damage as well. So do get the shield in that case. Now we're going into Metagross. Metagross is not going to have to worry about the moveset. Probably just going to spam that Sky Attack again, and Metagross is going to be able to resist that, no problem. Now we're getting back into Rhyperior, but just remember this situation right now is that Rhyperior, or their team, they don't have any shields. So in this case, he could actually hit him just with a Meteor Mash instead, because that will still be super effective against Rhyperior as opposed to going for the Earthquake there, storing up that energy. But Kyogre was able to finish it off, so definitely good battle by the opponent. Now we're in a situation where we got Metagross versus Melmetal. I'm curious to see what exactly they would end up doing, but yeah, they switch out. So in this case, probably going to bait the Meteor Mash in hopes that they'll end up shielding for a potential Earthquake. So that's definitely some good plays, definitely some good bait plays out of Aguilaris. So we're going up against a Dialga, really doing well with kind of focusing on the Meteor Mashes as opposed to just spamming out to Earthquake. Already has one shield kind of down, and then now potentially going for the home run. Let's see what happens. They're either going to shield it again, or they're going to go ahead and take the hit. They take the hit. They value their shields more. Aguilaris is kind of like in a situation now where two shields has a big advantage in that way, so they're definitely wanting to kind of keep that at bay and just take the Dialga down. So now we're going to go and see a Togekiss. And then switching into Giratina now. This is kind of interesting because as like a Togekiss user myself, it's usually not a favorable situation sending out Giratina Origin, and it just gets destroyed by Togekiss. But now you've got a situation where it's going to be Togekiss versus Kyogre. Kyogre is going to have two shields. That's very important to remember. This is a crazy close battle, and just an insane one. So I'm kind of wondering what the overall kind of plan is. I mean, you got to have real confidence with your team to kind of go with this strategy. So able to take out the Togekiss. Getting into the third Pokemon, it is a Melmetal. What exactly do you do? I mean, it could potentially have a Thunderbolt, but maybe not. Has a Rock Slide. Gonna go ahead and block it out. And then it seems like it's time to go ahead and farm up. Hit it with the Surf. I don't think the Surf is going to actually KO it from this type of range, but we'll see. It does a decent chunk to it. And then now it just basically has to be able to live from one of the charge moves. Is it Rock Slide? Is it Superpower? Superpower just can't finish it off. It also ends up lowering its damage and its attack. So a huge congratulations to this player. Managed to get himself up to 2,463. So very close to rank 9 with this team. So hopefully you did learn something from it. Hopefully you kind of learned a little bit more about how to use Kyogre. I know I personally have, taking a look at these battles. And like I said before, if you have something that you think is interesting and worth highlighting, make sure to go ahead and fill out the form in the description below, and I will see you next time. If you want to develop a deeper connection, I would highly recommend you to check out Patreon. We've got a lot of really cool things going on over there. Check out all of these supporters that we have. We are almost up to 100. We are also posting some special content, some behind the scenes work. And if that is the type of thing that interests you, I would highly recommend you to check it out.